Friends, happy Monday. It is the 30th of August. It's the 22nd week in Ordinary Numbered Time. It's nice to be with you. I will give you a morning reflection, and then I invite you, if you haven't yet read the readings, click the link on the sidebar, prayerfully read the readings, and then turn off your screen. Spend some time with the Lord. Maybe two requests. This last weekend, we rolled out a communication platform here at Holy Spirit called Flock Notes. There's information over on the sidebar as well. This will allow us to communicate with you more effectively, more efficiently. You can sign up for either email or text notifications. Our goal is to not overwhelm you. One text, one email a week. You can text HSCCWYO, which is Holy Spirit Catholic Community Wyoming, HSCCWYO, to 84576. And again, that information will be over on the sidebar. Or you can click the link and go to the Flock Notes page and then set up your own information. Second thing, I did put out a letter in the bulletin and make a request this weekend, but just in general, strongly encouraging us out of Christian love for our neighbor, out of an attention to the fifth commandment, to take care of the gift of life for ourselves and for others, to make sure that we are absolutely doing everything that we can to not transmit this coronavirus to other people. Seeking vaccination, talking to our doctors about that, wearing a face covering when we're inside, regardless of vaccination status, because apparently now all of us can transmit it again, thanks to this Delta variant. Hand washing, distancing, staying home if we're unwell, all of those sorts of things. So let's be praying for each other and expressing our love for each other by our actions as well as by our dispositions of heart. Let me give you a morning reflection. You might recognize that we've switched from the end of Matthew's gospel, where Jesus was denouncing the scribes and the Pharisees and telling his disciples to be awake. Now we're at the beginning of Luke's gospel. We jump over the infancy narratives. We'll save those for Christmas time. And we are at the beginning of the public ministry of Jesus. And then in the first reading, we're continuing our reading from St. Paul's first letter to the Thessalonians. Last week, I told you that this letter is typically judged to be the first letter of St. Paul, or the earliest letter of St. Paul that we have the entirety of, that's preserved in the New Testament. This first reading selection, many of the scholars tell us, is probably the heart of the reason why Paul wrote this letter, right? Why did Paul write this? Because the Christians in Thessalonica were worried, nervous, anxious, that their loved ones were dying and Jesus had not returned. I've said it plenty of times before, like that first generation of Christians, they expected that Jesus and the reign of God was coming any day. There was a definite need to work and to be ready because Jesus was coming. And in Thessalonica, they started to have loved ones die, and they couldn't figure out what that meant. And so Paul addresses that. And he says, don't be anxious, don't be afraid, because at the voice of the Lord, like a trumpet, they will rise. And then we too will be caught up and will meet the Lord. Christians in our age take that to be a sign that, we won't have to die. We don't need to prepare ourselves for death. So long as we've accepted Jesus Christ once in our lives, that's all that needs to happen, and we don't need to worry about, dying or suffering or chronic pain or anything like that. The question might be to go into the deep end of the pool, right? What are we most afraid of? What are we anxious of? What shakes our faith to the foundations? Are we able to name that for ourselves? Are we able to identify that? Are we able to have even a halting conversation with our God in relation to that? We know what kept the Thessalonians up at night 2,000 years ago. What is it that does it for us? And that's a painful segue for me. What is it for me? It's social anxiety. It's worry about my parish and my faith community. The gospel is a great antidote to that, right? Jesus goes to his home and he speaks words and everyone praises him and is so overwhelmed by him. But because the Spirit of the Lord is upon him and he has been sent to bring glad tidings to the poor, he then continues on. and he speaks to them words of challenge, words of difficulty. I've never quite gone into this sense of Jesus Christ to the point that people at any Mass that I've celebrated have picked up stones to take me out to the bluffs above town and to kill me. But certainly there are times that it feels like there might be some social death, right? Some pain from the disapproval and the reality of others not wanting to walk with me. Maybe the reflection question for the gospel today might be, what are the ways that we feel cast out? What are the ways that we feel rejected? What are the ways that we feel distant in our own relationships? Maybe we don't solve them today, right? Jesus doesn't solve this relationship with Nazareth, but certainly we can at least experience it a little bit and have that place of connection and love with Jesus, who himself was rejected in his own hometown. All right, friends, a blessed Monday to you. Read the readings prayerfully, turn off the screen, spend some time with the Lord, register for that communication platform, Flocknote, and be praying for each other. Let's be praying for an end to this pandemic swiftly and soon. If you wanted to pray for me, I certainly would appreciate that. God bless.